Good evening and welcome to the Hobby Corner with me, your host, Kev. How you doing? Hope you're well. I hope you have had a fantastic weekend so far, and a great Saturday. For fans of the show, as you know, I wasn't available last night to do a show, but I wanted to do one today because we got some fantastic news about what's going on in Age of Sigmar, which is nice, and well, lots of things to discuss. And there's some things, and then there's some things that I'm like, so. I really wanted to just have a quick look through it and a quick chat and discuss with you guys and gals about it, and I want to know what you lot think as well. So yeah, well, I mean, I wasn't going to be on until Monday, but then I thought, you know what, I saw the live stream and everything just on my way home, with everything that's going on with Age of Sigmar 3rd edition and the Dominion box and stuff, and I thought, you know what, I actually do want to cover this. So got home, had some tea, and of course I'm home alone this weekend, after having that fantastic day with the wife and kids on Friday, where we didn't get home till 10 o'clock at night. And yeah, I just thought, yeah, I want to do this, and then I went to I hopped onto YouTube, went to start the stream, and then saw Elston was hosting a show, so I was like, oh well, you know what, I'll jump in there and say hello. And of course he had quite a few other people in there. He had Benji, he had Michael, Josh from Pickle Jar, Luke from Geek Gaming's Scenics, and Colin from the Crazy Crafter. So he had quite a show there, so I couldn't help but watch. So anyways, enough of that waffling. Let's just dive right into it, shall we? So I'm gonna keep this over here. I'm gonna just squeeze that over there so that I can keep an eye on the chat. Actually, you know what, let's just get rid of that. Let's pop the chat up here. There we go. The wonders of having two screens. I know, it's amazing. I'm such a pro. Like, fellow YouTubers, beware. I'm amazing with this stuff. Anyways, so let's jump onto the article. So, we'll just run through the article because it's got everything we need to know about what they said on the live stream. And remember when they said about Indomitus, they said they're going to have plenty of copies of it, and they very quickly ran short of it, and then they were nice enough to go back. They made to order, and they got more stock in, which was great. I don't think they're going to do it again this time, but if they do, then there is something we do need to call out, and that is that they did say live that there should be plenty to go around, which they did say last time, because they've made tons and tons of stock. But make sure that you pre-order yours so that you don't miss out. So with that wording alone, that maybe they're either doing one or two things. They're either saying, look, this, once it's gone, it's gone, and then you'll just have to wait for the 3rd edition starter sets and stuff, or they're just trying to create some like FOMO, some fear of missing out, and then boom, stock's all sold out, and then they go, we'll do made to order. So it's a bit of are they giving us a hint as to thing, or are they just trying to create more demand for the thing? Either way, sort of false scarcity sort of feeling. But we'll see. No point in judging them before it's even happened. So let me know in the chat what you all up to, how you doing. Hope you're well. What you got planned for the weekend and everything. And yeah, we'll just dive right in. So we have the Warhammer Preview Online Unboxing Dominion. So very fancy. So it's an introduction to the new edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. The box has it all: armies of astonishing miniatures, rich fiction, introducing a new era of in the mortal realms, and an expertly refined rule set to support your epic things. Okay, so of course they got the Twitch stream. If you missed it, they revealed the look of the Thunderstrike Stormcast Eternals during the Warhammer Fest. I've been dropping hints ever since. Blah, 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 blah. Anyways, I really like the. I'm gonna say I really do like the animations that they do for the trailers now. It's really sort of taking things up a notch. But anyway, let's have a look and.
Remember why we fight. Chaos won. The dark gods broke us. Demons and blood-pledged warriors wrought ruin and left only ash and bone in their wake. The mortal realms, so hard won, were lost. In the face of such defeat, the armor of mortals could not hold. Pride, greed, ambition tore apart the alliance the God King had built among the races. It is
like the
well
use of
then that we are not mortal.
Of the artwork as well.
Forged in celestial storm, we are the chosen of Sigmar. We are hope manifest, and where we stand, there will be light in the darkness. No matter the cost.
Where's the baddies? Well, I mean, it depends what your perspective is really on who's the baddies, really. Just as quickly as he arrives.
Even as our souls begin to fade, death is not the end. Our war is eternal.
It's older.
And so, we must remember. Remember why we fight!
Alright, so that was really cool. I really do like the trailer. It's really well put together. I do. There was something interesting. The Stormcast guy, he looked a lot older when they came back to him after he'd been reforged, and it makes me think one of two things. Is it you know, maybe them leaking a bit more information about being reforged several times, or has an amount of time passed since that battle that he's, you know, actually aged? So, you know, hopefully we'll find out more on that. But anyways, we're going. So we've got some screenshot moments. But this, I like this one right here. Just seeing Azir Wow, that's pretty nice. And then they're all just waiting around like, hey, here's your gear. Let's jump into this big lightning portal and just get zapped for lols. But yeah, no, the hall with all the artwork on it, and it's all artwork that you can get yourself, and it's in the battle tomes and stuff. It's really cool. I really did like that touch. So now they go into what's in the box. Let's just jump right into this. Very nice. Very nice. So you get quite a bit in that box actually. It's actually quite well put together. I actually do think it's probably going to be around the Indominus sort of price range. Because it's about that size. But anyway, we'll carry on looking. But you know what, I do have to say, right, that a lot of these videos I was trying to watch on the way home, and where I live, the signal just kept dropping and it kept buffering, so I never got to see these trailers fully all the way through uninterrupted. So it was great to see that. But damn, yeah, I mean, some cool stuff. So yeah, you get a lot of stuff in here, and I like the addition of War Scrolls cards. That's a nice touch because they're handy. You know, they're pretty handy. You could just, instead of flicking between pages, you could just have the cards out on the side of the table or whatever, and just have a quick glance at what you need. Job done. You get two very nice big minis there as well, which is cool. But you get so much in there, and I assume you're going to have duplicates in there, like these little pale chaps over here. And yeah, like those spear wielding chaps. So of course they've broken them up around just to make them look like there's a bit more going on, but it looks like they're in groups of 5. So you got those 5 up there, and then you've got 2, 3, 4, 5. So there you go. And then you got these cool but anyway, we'll look on. So 21 Stormcast Eternals, 39 Cruel Boys. I think that's a strange name. I think they were sort of trying to stick with the orky name sort of thing going on, but Cruel Boys, could have done better. Exclusive launch edition core book, 24-page booklet, 14 War Scrolls cards, and 2 Allegiance ability cards. There we go. So it says there's a lot of minis and stuff. That's 60 of the best models. And we start looking into these. So we've seen in Dresta the Celestial Spear. We've seen what this is all about. But for those who weren't here for that show, just have another quick looky there. It's a really nice mini, really well put together. Lots of subtle details in there, like the little angry squirrel there. Which totally steals the show, of course, and the nice blade and everything. It's really cool. And of course the wings. I mean, you know, but they've got wings down to a T. So, so she's leading the Lord Imperatant with Gryph-hound. So I expect that in the beginner sets, you might not get her. You'll most likely get this guy instead. Kind of like how you got, instead of the captain, you got the lieutenant instead for the beginner sets. So you know, These peerless leaders are the finest strategists in Sigmar's service, wielding the forces of the Stormcast Eternals as the one unstoppable war engine. So that's why he wasn't that good at fighting, because he's a planner, not a fighter. But I mean, you know what I think is kind of grim, is that he has got a little fellow Griffhound right here, but he's wearing he's wearing the pelt of I assume another larger Griff type charger or Griffhound, or maybe it is an eagle or some description, but it's kind of like it's kind of IG. It's kind of like if you were to get the help off a mate, right, but you were wearing their like relative over your shoulders, like while you were helping them. That's a bit on the beak, so to speak. But I have to say it's really good. And I did see a meme earlier, actually. Boffnet had posted it up in the Chilling Network Discord from someone else who had posted it. Hang on, let me just see if I can grab it up. Oh, it's over here. Okay, can't remember where Blooming put the screen. Wait, get the old thingamabob up. Yeah, there we go. Discord. Yes, I did know about that. Thank you. So where are we at? There you go. Chilling War Gamers. Scroll down to memes, and this is just perfect. So I'll pop it up on here, and there you go. Obviously, whoever was sculpting it was catching up on their Only Fools and Horses, like they were doing a little marathon. And ah, brilliant! Oh, there we go. There we go. That made my night, right? That right there. That really did. All right, Dave. Yeah, I got an award for saving the council money. It's the same broom, man. It's the same broom I've been using the last 14 years. He's got a reforged broom. Oh my god. Oh god. It's had 13 brushes and 14 handles. But it's reforged, so it's the same broom. Oh my god. Oh, I have to get rid of that because I can't even look at it anymore. Oh, shake it off, man. Oh, I need to open a window. Oh dear. Oh, can you imagine? Imagine, like they go up to this guy, right, in Azir, and they're figuring out about being reforged, right? He says the same thing that he says about the brooms, but with the souls being reforged. Oh wait. Oh dear. Sorry about that. I know it's not really entertaining. Oh. There we go. Ah, thanks, Trigger. Oh dear. Moving on. Oh dear. He is the main character of who narrates the thing. Okay, right. So, and he's a very good boy. Griffhound, Ironbeak, even has his own tiny little hammer. Yeah, well, yeah, of course he's a very good boy because you're wearing his mummy on your shoulders. So, oh, let's take a swig. All right. So we got the Night Arcanum. So we've had Night Arcanums. They're not new, but how they're used now might be a bit different. So as keepers of ancient and forbidden lore, Night Arcanums are eccentric wizards who are able to harness and channel the fulminating power of their fellow warriors to bring ruin to the enemies of Sigmar. So some interesting eye work here, but nonetheless it's a decent paint job. But I do like this helmet and the choice to paint it in this white. It has got quite a sinister touch to it, actually. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not bad at all. I like it. I dig it. And then we got the Knight Vexilar with Banner of Apotheosis. So it's about time we got some new banners. Been rocking the ones that they released back in first edition. So the banners of the Knights Vexilar contain a fragment of the great anvil upon which the Stormcasts were forged. The power that radiates from them fortifies all those who will fight nearby. So yeah, I mean, it's got great detailing on it. I'm gonna assume that this detail is part of the mini. It's not freehand work. I don't think it is at all. But you still got plenty of room for freehand, you know, in between the details and stuff. You can make it as fancy as you like. It's a nice banner. A lot more traditional like than the first two. But yeah, it's quite a nice one. Notice the slight bend in the handle there. So that might just be because you know, like in order to get these minis built and painted and showcased well ahead of schedule, they probably had to 3D print their own off, so this might just be wonky wet resin or something. But no, it's a nice sword as well. That sword means business. And look, oh, look, even a little flower. It's not a flower, is it? It's like a stalk. But no, that's nice. So yeah, I do have to say I do like the newer armor. It looks a lot more refined, which is what they're going for essentially, isn't it? So then we move on to Praetors. So these elite and stylish bodyguards are soul bonded, to the heroes they're charged to protect. Interesting. So this is quite a nice stance. About to pull out the blade, marching with the halberd there. Again, a nice solid stance there. He's got rune stamped into his forehead as well, so that's interesting. And yeah, plenty of room again for freehand work and whatever you like. Yeah, the solid minis. And then Annihilators. This is what I liked from the previous preview. I just love how stonky chunky these dudes are. And the beaten shields. I love, and just the beaten metal, you know, the look of it on the hammers as well. It's really nice. This one's got a flat surface on it, but this one doesn't. This one's got an embossed image on it. So that's cool. Yeah, I mean, wouldn't want to get hit by that, would you? It's literally like being slammed with an anvil on a stick. So yeah, don't want to mess with those dudes. Then we got Vindicators, so wielding lightning blessed spears and shields, arcs of blazing azurite power. Form around them as they hold the battle line. So again, we got to see a bit of these as well, but what's different is we never got to see a bannerman. So it's a nice addition. And some more variations on the helmetless look as well. So yeah, I mean, these are going to be your battle line troops. It's nice to have some range on them. I assume they're going to have either 2 or 3 inch range on them, so that you can like get extra attacks in by piling them in ranks. So that's cool. And then we got the Cruel Boy Oryx. Oh, this is some nice artwork there. So who is exactly sorry. But who exactly are the upgraded Stormcast Eternals going to be up against? Well, you can think of the new Cruel Boys Oryx as representing the other aspect of the twin head god, the Mork to the Angel Gork, if you will. So let's do it.
Entry number 41. I've had a breakthrough. The beasts made it past the guard, and many were taken. A tragedy, but a fortunate one. A knife left behind. Thinner this time, not at all like the ones in the books. Designed to pierce armor, perhaps, but of what? Not the usual Orc approach either. Barely even shouted. Diversions, far more cunning than before. Something is brewing in the swamps.
I like those,
I'm sure
bitey.
of it. Alas, if my theories are correct, then we are in more trouble than we know.
They got the little grots as well. I'll just say a lot of work has gone into those shots, right? All the terrain and stuff that they built specifically for this, it's pretty amazing. So let's have, I mean, they got a little bit of a Lord of the Rings sort of look to them, haven't they? But a bit more over exaggerated. So it's like definitely Warhammer, but just with those extra sort of hints to them. So Cruel Boys are still brutal, but their cunning makes them more amenable to picking off foes at range and stabbing someone in the back instead of charging in headlong. Sounds pretty much like goblins, doesn't it? They make their homes in bogs, swamps, and murky places, especially in Gur. When Kragnos began his rampage, the Cruel Boys took to him like a moth to the flame, worshipping him as destruction incarnate. The Cruel Boys are rising up all across the realms to join their kinfolk, and they're bringing some big, nasty beasts with them. Nice. Look at this. Absolutely disgusting. So they don't quite look like your typical orcs at all. Yeah, very much Lord of the Rings inspired. But what they've done is like they've kind of taken Lord of the Rings orcs, and then they've taken a Warhammer goblin and they've just mushed it and then exaggerated it a bit, and I think that's where they kind of got it from. But I mean, that's a pretty cool scene right there, right? So these new additions to the Orc war clans have been designed with cues going way back to the early days of Warhammer. The leering faces of their red shields will no doubt feel familiar to Hobbs. Yeah, very much so. Leading cruel boys from the bogs are sadistic killer boss warlords. So here's killer boss on Great Gnashtooth. Influential killer bosses often ride a ferocious boghound into battle. The beast's slavering jaws and eloping speed make them well worth the trouble, or possible loss of limb in taming. And the shields are kind of fun, aren't they? Other rings, yeah, and the hobgoblins have some chaos dwarfs type armor. So yeah, a lot of people are thinking that maybe they might eventually get the chaos dwarfs in at some point. But the thing is, there's a lot of impatience in it, because like a system like this, that they've some of it has been planned, you know, for the long haul, you know, cues dropped here and there, and some of it is more planned for the immediate, you know. So they drop cues here and there a lot of the time, just in case they want to revisit something. But you know, and they just leave it open-ended, but sometimes they drop cues specifically for something that might happen down the line. So, you know, you never know, but it could just be like a tantalizing hint, you know. We'll find out more when the book's out, but there's a lot going on in this model. And yeah, I mean, look at that, it looks proper nasty. I do remember on the stream they were saying it looked like a naked mole rat and like a weasel mushed together and mutated or something. I mean, I can see that. It looks like they haven't left the underbelly flat and blandless like they did with the last their last thing. Remember this? With the flat underbelly. Oh, there goes his headpiece. Whoops. There you go. So anyways, yeah, I mean, it's a pretty cool looking model. It's very different to what we're used to seeing. So yeah, they're different isn't always bad. They have some Kragnos aesthetics as well. Sure, yeah, some of the shields and the banner. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's a lot of homage paid to him. So you got a Swamp Cooler, Shaman, and Potgrot. A Potgrot, love it. Repulsive even by the standards of the cruel boys. Swamp Cooler wizards channel the foul magics of the warp, the swamp. Sorry, not the warp. Into toxins and foul elixirs to aid their kin. Dude's got a giant's skull attached to his back. That's pretty cool. And then they all got gut plates as well. So definitely, you know, saying like screaming, this is a destruction thing, right? If you think about ogres, they had hobgoblins at some point, didn't they? You know, back in Old Hammer, I think. But all the Oryx now seem to have these gut plates or something covering their guts, you know. So it might just be the new. Oh yeah, definitely. Once Imperium is done, that's why I am so tempted to get the box, but at the same time, I might just miss it completely, because I ended up building the majority of the Indomitus box and only painting 2 minis from it. And it just, yeah. And now I'm gonna end up getting doubles of it all in the next magazine series. So I'm thinking just leave it, and you know, I can get these minis further down the line. Yeah, I do like the little the grot that they got to stir the pot. So that's kind of cool. And look how foul that stuff is. It's like turning to vapor as it's dropping. So yeah, I mean, again, lots of design cues in there and everything. It's pretty cool. So Swamp Crawler Shamans never leave home without a pot grot to stir the healy brews. You just know that grots the life of the victory party. Okay, and then we've got a killer boss with a stab grot. I'm sensing a theme here. Return of the grots, eh? Every killer boss is ruthless and ambitious, having backstabbed, poisoned, and otherwise disposed of anything that stood between them and their leadership goals. So we... Ooh, look at that. Okay. He's got a nasty helmet. Look at that helmet. Whoa. I mean, the spikes pointing up ain't going to do nothing unless you ram someone head downwards. But yeah, and I'm going to assume these are quite tall as well. I mean, look at the size of that Stormcaster. I mean, it's only just top half of them. But you can kind of gauge that they're probably a bit bigger than them. And again, the shield is pretty cool as well. It's really nice. And then they've got the little stab grot. He's got his own little shield and his own knife and everything. That's pretty cool. And you know that's just like a bit of armor that he's nicked. And he's got like almost like a gladiator style helmet on. That's not bad at all. This vicious warlord is also accompanied by a brave little fella who's super into stabbing things and can be kicked in front of a blow meant for the killer boss. Oh no. You just throw him in the way when you're about to get stabbed up. Does that basing detail count as another Stormcaster mod? Oh, that's grim. Merc Knob with a Belcher banner. He's a knob that's gonna murk you, bruv. He's gonna murk you, bruv. Where did it get the names from? Oh dear. Next there'll be like a shank knob. He's gonna shank you, bruv. Ordingloff icons rout in the form of Kragnos, the living earthquake, the strange devices offer protection against enemy magic and flood the battlefield with choking swamp gas. Lovely. So, cool banner. There's an actual tongue slapped in there with a maggot. Lovely. Some dude who sneezed blood is now on there. So yeah, I mean, that's an interesting leering face as well. That is the face that looks more like a Lord of the Rings character. If anything, it looks like what was the one that was chasing the dwarves in The Hobbit? That's kind of what he looks like, you know, with the scar across the eye and everything. Though, you know, that one was more heavily scarred up and everything. But there seems to be some like cues for the face on it. But I mean, look, I mean, all the weaponry is suitably brutal. There's some really cool things going on there. I like, look at that nose. So that's like the Hob Grot sort of face, and then you got the Grot face there. The White Orc, yeah, you know what I mean. And then look, he just looks steamed, right? He looks absolutely peeved. Look, the flared nostrils, like. And then you got Skewer Bolt Boys. The Orcs who embrace ranged weaponry are rare, but they can be found among the cruel boys. Bolt Boys coat the jagged tips of each bolt in a potent poison, mostly because they enjoy the death spasms the toxin causes. Oh, right. Life of the party, right. As you've seen in the cinematic trailer above, they are indeed Oryx with Deadeye aim. One of them bullseyed the Lord Imperatant. Yes, he did. So, oh, he's got a winky face going on there. That is a big crossbow with a big jagged knife on there. So yeah, they're gonna hurt, most definitely. It's cool. Sorry, that's because I've got the window open, so you can hear the idiots with loud mufflers going by. So yeah, no, I mean I like it. They're pretty cool, even down to the dried knees. And then you got Gut Rippers. Nice name. Yeah, Orcs have needed more firepower. Traditionally they've been more melee than ranged. They usually relied more on getting into combat, but then they had like crazy magic and the occasional missile weapon unit to back them up, like grot launchers and grot launchers are lols. And you know, like arrow boys. But yeah, let's see. So I mean, look, there's pretty cool stuff going on there. Nice and vicious looking weaponry. The shields as well, which is a nice theme that they got going on. Look really cool with the mad eyes. So you get a lot of practice with your eyes as well, which is cool. But he looks grumpy, right? And of course he's got the big pointy hat, so of course he's the one in charge. And then he just looks like he's saying, "You what?" "You what?" He's like, "Don't care, I'm gonna do it." "You what?" "Don't care, I'm gonna do it." "Don't do it, mate, just don't." "Don't care, I'm gonna do it." "Alright, go on then." And he's like, "I'm gonna freaking do it then." Kind of looks like he's got almost an executioner's hood going on there, you know. Sort of kind of going that way, but not quite. But yeah, nice beaten wood, and of course you would expect like third degree and rust and stuff because they predominantly reside in the swamp as well. So, oh yeah, rock lobber. That was a cool one, wasn't it? So yeah, and then you got the hobgrot slitters. Hobgrot slitters. Say that fast 3 times, you'll mess up. Diminutive allies of the Cruel Boys. Hobgrot lob strange explosive devices and wield wicked daggers to deadly effect. So these are your hobgrots, which I assume are hobgoblins rebranded, which is fine because grot is a Warhammer exclusive name as opposed to goblin. And yeah, we can see the aesthetic cues here from the dwarves, the Chaos Dwarves, because of the old thing. But also you see the knives are a lot sharper as well. So their gear is a lot better, there's less rust and stuff, so their gear is a lot better forged. So yeah, and look at this. Very strange stuff. So it'd be interesting to find out. And of course they got these weird grenade things going on. It'd be interesting to find out how they come about in the Mortal Realms, if it's still the same story that they were forged through experimentation with the Chaos Dwarves, just messing around with magic and goblins and humans and stuff like that, or if these are born out of something different. I'll do like the standard though with all the carved runes and stuff. And yeah, you bang the drum, boom, 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 and yeah, he's throwing the grenade. Nice. They're kind of dynamic looking. Bit on the stumpy side when it comes to the legs, but I mean, they're not supposed to be pretty, are they? They're supposed to be a bit of goof. So yeah, not bad, not bad. So that covers the models themselves. We told you this box is hefty. Remember, responsible lifting is important. Oh, back blah 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 blah. Look at that, just really really piling it on, aren't they? Yeah, they got a different color scheme for the skin as well, so they're definitely different to these lot. These are very much Orcs, and these are very much something different, Hobgrots. So yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? These seem to tie in all destruction, Orc, Gloomspike, Giants, and Ogres. Yeah, essentially, yeah. But these are the ones who have some. Yeah, exactly. And then I think the thing is, like, if you check the box, like the big picture of what's in the box. Where is it? Where are you at? There you go. They look like a chaff unit, really, to be honest, because you get 20 of them in that big box. And normally when you get a lot of something, it's a chaff unit. But they look like they got better forged armor and weaponry, so they might not be as chaffy as you think. What else is under the lid? Well, you also get an exclusive cover core book as well, which is expected, but my days, that's really nice artwork. And then of course you get your campaign book as well to play through, which is what was missing really from the Indomitus box was a campaign book essentially. So that's nice to have that. And then of course they got Stormcast Eternals and the Cruel Boys War Scroll cards. And then 8 new things about Age of Sigmar. There are, again, I did catch a little bit of this here and there, but because of poor connectivity, I didn't get to see the whole thing. Or I remember just seeing Nick Bater's face like, just the old, hey, you know, just classic overacting. Anyways, let's just jump right into it.
Just a cheeky highlight of silver on the very edges of the armor, like that. Perfect.
Nick! 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 It is I, the benevolent and omnipotent Sigmar.
Sigmar himself!
Silence! We have no time for inane mortal babblings. Now tell me, what are you doing?
Well, I'm just painting these new Stormcast Eternals. They're cool and all, but...
I said silence. Sigmar does not engage in idle chit-chat. I am here to give you 8 new things about the new Warhammer Age of Sigmar. 1. This is the best rule set you have ever seen.
Gonna say that.
Period. Cleaner, clearer, and more elegant than ever before.
Amazing! And I thought they couldn't get any better.
They can, and they have. These are rules you could take home to meet your parents. 2. Your heroes have more to do than ever before. That means more command points and more abilities.
And more rules.
Crikey!
Yes! More chances to show off in front of the troops, thanks to all new heroic actions. 3. Monsters are called that for a reason. And now they can accomplish some properly monstrous things in the charge phase.
So that's
Gee
good.
whiz!
Finally,
What sort of
they
things do you
actually
mean, Sigmar?
do what
You
they used to
know,
do.
stomping,
damage on the
roaring,
charges.
smashing, monster stuff. 4. Going second doesn't mean you'll be finishing in second place. With more command points to spend if your opponent takes the first turn, you'll have ample time and resources to disrupt their moves.
So, I mean, I'll pause it there just because that means that you actually will be able to have more chances to be reactive during your opponent's turn, which is great. This is one of the big improvements that I think they really did need, and it's great that they finally brought it in, because at times when you're playing against an opponent who's got a lot to do, you know, like big horde armies and stuff, like there is a lot of downtime for the other person, and it can get a bit boring for the other player, especially if you're waiting for like 20 minutes solid for the other person just to do all the movement and stuff and special abilities before they even get into shooting and combat. So being able to have reactive abilities and having more points, command points to spend to do those, means that there's even more sort of tactical foresight that's needed by the player. So now even if you get a double turn, you're not going to necessarily be at an advantage, you might be at a disadvantage. So, you know, it's a cool little mechanic that's helped sort of, I think, will help balance things out.
Does that mean there'll be less downtime?
Silence! Speaking of which, 5. No more watching from the sidelines as your troops take the brunt of the enemy's attack. Use reactive command abilities in every phase of the game to interrupt your opponent and frustrate their plans. 6. Endless spells are back and more vicious than ever, with predatory endless spells now moving in every hero phase. That means double the magical mayhem. 7. Build your army in interesting ways using different core battalions. It's simple, flexible, and you even get some cool new abilities to try out.
Wow, surely there can't be anything else.
Incorrect. I said 8, and I meant it. Sigmar never lies, apart from to Nagash. That guy sucks. 8. Send your army on a Path to Glory campaign and see your cheery little warriors rise from bumbling farmhands to mighty conquerors. Take territory and earn artifacts, spells, and other shiny trinkets.
Praise be to Sigmar! Well, there you have it from the big man himself. You get all of this and some rather swanky miniatures in the new Dominion box, the best Warhammer Age of Sigmar box set we've ever seen.
Right, Nick, gotta go. The mortal realms aren't going to save themselves. The greatest box set ever!
Representations of Sigmar in this video may not be representative of the God King himself. Divine intervention should be neither inferred nor expected. At least some persons in this video are entirely fictional. Terms and conditions apply. It is the best version of the game ever, though.
But surely it couldn't get any much better. Oh my god, I love it. At least they don't take themselves too seriously, which is great, you know. But oh my days. Hang on. Oh, I have to replay in order for me to get this blimmin' menu thing up. There we go. Oh my days! I like how they add at the end in the clauses. At least some of the characters, like the people in the trailer, are fictional. Like at least some. Poor Nick. So yeah. Anyway, so they put a lot of stuff into it, and I do like that the fact that they've stuck to having a narrative driven section to the game, because in all honesty, Age of Sigmar was always meant to have a strong narrative element. And you know, like back in the day, like when you went to your Games Workshop and they had the big events and they just say, yeah, just bring whatever you got, we'll line you all up on one side, line you lot up on the other side, and this is what we're fighting for. These are your objectives. Have at it. And the store managers and the shop assistants would do their best to sort of balance things out a bit. But essentially, that was a narrative-driven game, and they did more of that during when Lord of the Rings Battle Games in Middle-earth was out, because it was definitely a narrative game, and you had narrative campaigns and stuff, and they really explored that back then, and that got a lot of people into the hobby. And then for the middle part between then and a few years back, before Age of Sigmar dropped, narrative took a sideline, and it just became more tournament focused and points focused and competitively focused. So it's nice to have a nice balance now, where narrative gets the stand, but you have got the competitive element. Because look at when you play video games now, you got the narrative version, right? You got the solo player, or sometimes co-op. You go through the story, you play the game, and then you got the multiplayer option afterwards, where you could be competitive, and you got leagues and charts and ranks and stuff like that. And that's kind of how it really should be. But at least in my opinion, there might be some people out there who cry, "Oh no, it should be 100% balanced." No game except a game of chess will be 100% balanced, okay? Because you can't have two armies that are thematically different that have exactly the same balance. It's just impossible. So the whole point of being competitive and being a good general is not trying to have your army exactly the same balance as the other army, but trying to find ways to pivot the balance into your favor, even if you're against the odds to start with. Yeah, and you got buy DLCs, exactly, which is basically like an extra couple of models and stuff. So anyways, this is a really good shot. Really nice work on the terrain and everything. I mean, that must have taken hundreds of hours to put together, just for this one picture. So massive kudos to the team that work on that. So yeah. Oh, and then of course we got what's next after Dominion. Ooh. That's not all for Dominion's magnificent armies. We couldn't resist showing you even more miniatures coming to both forces, including a magnificent chariot and a furious Strogoth. So they did this with Indominus as well. Let's jump into it. Yeah, boy. That's a big bow. Look at the size of that, man. It's 1.5 times the size of this dude. That's a big bow. And these Gryph-hounds seem a little larger. I mean, even it could just be the pose of them, but yeah, man, that's a banging bow. So yeah, that looks really cool. And the chariots is cool as well. I've been wondering about whether or not they bring chariots into it, because of course they have got a Greco-Roman-esque sort of look to them. So that was always going to be the natural progression. So yeah, chariots. And apparently they're going to have weapon options for these as well. So that's going to be cool. And then of course we got more for these dudes. Whee. That's a big old bolt. Sorry. Forgot. For a second I forgot my mouse was on the other screen. So yeah, Skewer Kill Bow. I mean, if anything was ever going to kill something big, that would. It's immense. Yeah, I mean, that's a nasty looking crossbow. So the cruel boys may be more cunning than most, but they're still Oryx at the end of the day. The fact they made this ridiculously massive crossbow is a fine example. Kill bows are deadly to both large monsters and masses of foot troops, shooting straight through several at once. Lovely. So again, plenty of detail going on, and of course you've got your little grot helper as well. There's one down there. Is he holding it steady, or is he holding up this thing over here, which has probably got more bolts in it? There seem to be 3 grots there to help out, so that's interesting. Yeah, look, he's pulling out some bolts from that, so that's probably like a wheelie case, like you know, like a golf club bag. So yeah, that's cool. And then you got the breaker boss on Maya Brute Troggoth. Ooh. So these war leaders who succeed in bending a Troggoth to their will are powerful indeed. The breaker boss will goad these lumbering behemoths into battle, literally pointing them in the direction of the enemy and letting them vent their rage. Rah. Whoa. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, he looks brutal, doesn't he? He's got a cyclopean gut thing on there as well. I do remember on the live stream they pointed out the fact that he's got a cushion there, so he doesn't get chafed. But you wouldn't want to chafe your Troggoth; he'll throw you off. But yeah, I mean that's a cool one. You know, Orcs and goblins and stuff, they always like to stand on top of each other, don't they? Facing the grind, like Smokey and Friday. So yeah, I mean that's a pretty good model. It's definitely going to be a centerpiece mini, isn't it? So it says keep an eye out for more news on them. So yeah, and leap into the era of the beasts. So they, of course, they'll have a nice novel to go with it. Yeah. So much has happened since the end of Soul Wars. This is the best way to get a look at the new lay of the land. When will Dominion be here? It'll be available to pre-order in June. I expect in like maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I don't think it'll be the last week of June. I think middle or 3rd week of June. Doesn't give you a lot of time really to save up for it, to be honest. You know what I mean? So I think they do need to sort of give people a bit more time, because it does feel like when they do these reveals, I know they're trying to keep the hype up, so like they don't want to do pre-orders too long after the hype, because then people will then think, you know what, maybe not, I don't want to do it, and then the sales will dip because, you know, you reduce the FOMO, you reduce the hype train feel, so you get less people sort of wanting to throw their money, whether or not they got it, to do this. So and get in the box. It's a tricky thing for businesses to balance. But yeah, that's it. I mean, there's some really nice stuff coming. I think there's only a couple of things that I didn't quite like. The paint job on it might just be the angle, but the paint job on these legs isn't that great, to be honest. The stripes and everything looks great. But that's just me nitpicking, really. It's a decent box. And like I said, if there was a bit more time, that would be good. But you know, I probably won't get it because I'm going to be so invested in getting the Imperium magazine, and you know, doubling up on what I already got in Indomitus. I can see the same thing happening not that long after that magazine as well, where they'll do this and then it'll come up to, you know, the next version, because it looks like they're doing 3-year rotations for the editions, which for an old gamer like myself, for an old hobbyist like myself, it doesn't seem that long, because back in the day, editions, it could be like 5 or 6 years before a new edition came out. So, and then like they started speeding things up. So, I don't know. I mean, it's a lot to go through, but yeah, I could definitely see all this coming to a magazine collection eventually. There's going to be some really high-profiled sprues as well, because we got to see the sprues on the live stream actually. Let's go up to the live stream. Let's see if, yeah, they did actually put it on. There we go. So here we go.
This is really to protect the contents of the box, but you've got a really nice piece of artwork on some card, and then you are in Sprue City. Can everybody see this all right? Yeah, so I've got Hobgrots coming out of my ears.
So look, you see these the shield dudes for his Stormcast, they come in little sprues of 2, but they could be snapped off, so you can probably see smaller packs of them being sold.
Love it. So I've got the Vindicators, 2 frames of Vindicators. It's very exciting.
So there's a hell of a lot of detail on these miniatures. There's loads.
But you could basically see by the layout of how some of the sprues are, how they're going to be sold separately or put into beginner's box sets like we did with the Indominus.
These are beautiful.
Yeah, Gloomspite painted up, man.
Putting out recently is certainly has been. They are push
You
fits.
bought
so,
Cursed City. If you did, where did you buy Cursed City?
The vast majority of these together.
Hang on.
Without the need for glue, which is pretty cool.
Bruv, where'd you get Cursed City from? Hey, I wanted a bloody box, but I didn't have the money at the time, which was really annoying. Because I was saving the money because I knew it was coming. And then, like, I then had to spend the money that I saved on other things. And then they go, oh yeah, pre-orders this weekend. I was like, you... Like, if you'd just given me one more week, I could have got it, but yeah. Sodding gets, hey.
Cool.
So yeah, there we go.
The heads ever fall off. That's option 2.
Let's just have a look at how the characters are divided.
For push fit kit as well. So you do have options for heads and for unhelmeted heads.
So
it looks like for most of the Stormcast.
Yeah. So I believe each of the Vindicators certainly has an option of 2 heads.
So we've got head options. Ooh, that's very nice. I hope still got a few copies.
What's the availability
on
this now?
Man.
You've got the info on that, right?
Yeah, because they're still making their way around, aren't they?
This box set will be available while stocks last. It will be available to pre-order.
Oh man, you should got yourself 2, and then just pawned it off.
It will be available to pre-order in June.
Especially because what was it? One of the vampire sprues is going for 80 quid now. So you could easily get half the box price just from that one sprue.
We have made an awful lot of this box, but if you do want to get yourself a copy, it will definitely be worth pre-ordering it when the time comes. We are confident we've made an awful lot of them, but it will be available while stocks last box.
So
there you go. So they're probably not gonna do a thing, but you never know. They might do a made
and it might get a
to
clearer
order.
picture.
Here's a look at the
so here we
sprues.
have the Praetors, which are my personal favourites. I want to see what we got.
So they could
head
easily be
options
sold
for a
in
start.
boxes
I'm
of
very
3 and
excited.
6.
So we've got 1, 2, 3 helmeted heads and 1, 4 helmeted heads. Oh, that means you can do one not as a prime if you want to. Okay, and then it looks like you've got an unhelmeted head potentially for at least 2 of them. That's pretty cool. You've also got these nice little, it's the small things in life sometimes that delight this particular trope. And you've got all these little, I'll point to one, little plugs that you can push into the guys, is the pieces that the Warhammer design team make these models into. This halo piece here and just how it connects to the shoulder of the Lord Imperator is amazing. The Griffhound is on the same frame as him, so it's his attendant.
But he's got, go back.
40 mil bases, but maybe the killer boss might be a 50. He's got quite a large scenic base piece. We have the is it the Swamp Caller Shaman and the Lord Imperator?
So there you go. That's going to be sold separately, definitely. Just like the Lieutenant and the Necron dude. They're sold like that as well. So you can see already the pattern of how the sprues are made so that they can be sold in the way that they do. So yeah, you can predict how they're going to sell it. So just take what they've done with 40k, and that's how they're going to put it out. Yeah. So mate. Yeah, I mean, well, you know, the fact that you got yourself one is pretty cool as well. Let's hope that, you know, one day when the contract ends, with the company that went a bit weird in China, you know, they could probably find someone else to print the stuff, and it might come back one day. It'd be a massive shame if it doesn't, but you never know. Karen Commissar, hey, how you doing, man? You're definitely getting the box. I mean, it is a very tasty box. Like I said, if it wasn't for the fact that Games Workshop been using Hachette to be like a model, not a model, but part of their sales model to get the collections out and to get the reinvestment back in the sprues before they start out new editions, like they did with Conquest before, you know, 9th edition dropped, and like they're doing with Mortal Realms before 3rd edition pops out, and like they're going to do again, like by the end of Imperium you're going to have 10th edition 40k. It's a guaranteed thing. So after that, these lot were going to get sold. And you know what, as much as I'd love to buy the box, and you know, I like the whole hype of going into the Games Workshop that you like to support, or your freelance stores, and you know, you got the hype of the day when you go to collect it, and they do the whole like event, you know, like your little speed painting, the speed building thing. You get your little freebies as well, like, you know, badges and cards and stuff, whatever, and art prints and that. I enjoy all of that, even though some of it's going to cost me a bit extra, you know, like you have to buy a few extra things or spend a certain amount, because of course they're going to have a sales target. It's commercial, it's sales and stuff, but I enjoy the atmosphere of it. I enjoy the camaraderie of it, and just everyone opening up the box together and stuff like that. But I think I'm just gonna have to pull myself away from this and just go, look, I am gonna end up with this eventually. I'll just have to wait. And as an adult who has very little disposable income, but disposable income nonetheless, it's very difficult for me to stop myself from spending that on things that I want, because of course that's kind of what I've been doing for the last, you know, 2 decades as a working person. So, and you know, like when with the exception of when I was much younger, I used to try and save few, you know, like with my paper round, I used to try and save a few weeks at a time, because then I could buy something rather than just a blister pack with a couple of dwarves in it. So yeah, maybe I think I need to sort of come back to that and try and do saving targets and stuff again. And, you know, like reinvest in getting these the stuff, like not adding to the pile of opportunity that I already have. So I've already like resolved that I'm gonna end up selling some stuff that I just never will get round to doing, just because the lack of space, the need for the funds as well, and yeah, it's just that's a little weight off my mind as well. But you know, it's the collector in my head going, no, don't sell the stuff that you don't need. But anyways, but as an adult, I'll try and buy 2. Yeah. Hold it until you want it. like I said, as tempting as it is, I'll probably have to pass on it, and just not get caught up in the excitement like I did with Indominus. If I knew that I was gonna get what I got in Indominus in a future magazine collection, I most likely would have gone through the same thought process I'm going through now, and just thought maybe I can hold out. So yeah, I'm gonna resist. But I already treat myself. That's the thing. Every month I get a delivery that costs me 40 odd quid, right, of miniatures and paints. So that's already my treat. Plus I also got what was it, you know, the Ultimate Marvel graphic novel collection that started so many years ago, and it's still going. It's still costing me it's still costing me 20 quid a month to get two books in every month, and it's still going. It's never going to end. I think it's going to go on forever. So that's my budget for the month. And then, like, if I'm fortunate enough to get a little bit of extra through the affiliate links that you guys do, or on the rare occasion someone buys merch, or one of you fantastic legends donates money to me, then that normally goes into a pot that I can spend directly on the channel, improving it, getting the new cameras and lights and stuff like that. So, you know, being an adult, married, kids, is so boring, isn't it? So you missed out on Indominus, but yeah, the Imperial magazine is scratching the itch. Yeah, because like you are going to get all of the models from Indominus, but you also got to get Admech and Sisters of Battle. I mean, you know. So yeah. You're just cheering me on. Do it. Well, I mean, it's going to be pricey. It's going to be around the 120, 130 pound mark, definitely. I can see that. So it's not going to be cheap. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. So bail out on that. Oh man, well, I can't bail on it. Like, I'm this far in, I can't bail on it, mate. I've had that subscription for what, 6 or 7 years now. I can't just stop it now. But then I said the same thing to myself when I started the, like, when it was only 6 months into the thing, you know. I was like, oh, I can't go. Nah, birthday was back in March. Early Christmas. Nah. So yeah. Yeah, it's not going to be something that I can get, even if I wanted it. I mean, which is a blessing, I guess, because if I did have the money, I'll probably be tempted. And there's so much more I can do with that money anyway. So, yeah, I'll leave it as that. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. A late Easter. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me as we digest this news and all these fantastic miniatures. There's some criticisms here and there, but on the whole, I think they've done a good job here, and it'd be very interesting to see what they do with it, how they take the narrative, and what they do with the collections and stuff. I mean, like, there's still, like, you know, going well into the almost the third year of Soul Wars. They were still releasing the occasional miniature for those factions, so I can imagine they've stretched that out on this as well. Anyways, as always, if you haven't already, please do hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and yeah, share the video if you want to as well. There are plenty of ways to support the channel through various links down below. There's affiliate links to Element Games if you want to get yourself a pre-order through there, or hobby supplies and stuff. I'd say keep an eye out on that, so when pre-orders go up, get it from there, because you'll probably get a discount on it. And even if you don't, I mean, you'll be helping a fellow out, because I get a little kickback from that, which would be awesome. If you're still getting yourself some Mortal Realms stuff, then hit the link down below. I believe I saw something about them doing discounts now. So if you put Mortal 20 or Mortal 30 and you spend so much, I think it's like £30 or £50 on the magazines, then you get yourself a discount. I think it's like 10 or 30%, something like that. So the last time I checked on the website, a lot of things were out of stock, but just give them a call, see if you can use the codes on the phone, because a lot of the time there is stock, but it's not listed on the website. And good ones to get a couple of is the Vindicators, you know, the bowmen, because you can have them as crossbowmen as well, and the Hex Wraiths, because they could be Black Knights as well. So yeah, those are good ones to do. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it there. Yeah. Oh yeah, social media links all down there as well. So big love to you all. Hope you have all a fantastic night, and I'll see you Monday at the earlier 8 PM for our playthrough of Age of Sigmar Mortal Realms. So